We are Things I Found Online, where radio legends are exploring the internet and or dancing. I'm Louise Palanker, your lovely and captivating host, here with our in-studio guests, Eric Schwartz and Brad Gilbert.
I'm going to do my 80s thing.
Hi.
That's
Name
like
at the bottom.
Like the Soligal dancers, the way they would dance and then the pose at the end.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they would just freeze it. So we're here to talk about the internet, and all these kids are online.
These kids.
They're up to something.
The kids today.
Yeah. So I got an account on the Google.
Just
and
to
I
watch
took a
them.
look-see. Yeah, just took a look-see. There's a lot of cleavage.
Okay.
That internet, full of cleavage.
I thought you were looking
And
at...
it's mostly Eric's.
Yeah, it's mine.
Yep.
I've been doing at least 100 push-ups a day.
Nice.
you
Have
can-
really?
Thanks for noticing. Yeah.
Well done.
You can bench like 300 pounds with your pecs, correct?
Yeah. Well, I do push-ups, so I weigh 170 something. So that's what I bench.
You bench.
Cool.
You bench
Yeah.
your entire frame.
I
Yeah.
can bench 200 on the moon.
Oh man, that's a good. Yeah, because things weigh less.
Yeah.
All right. I do my bench pressing in a pool. Yeah.
All right.
So it's a little lighter.
With inflatables.
Yeah.
What I do is I like to ask you kids about social media, and everybody who's a comedian, your whole platform of promoting yourself, promoting your shows is now, the strategy is now built around the internet, correct?
Yeah, it has to be. Everything.
Yeah. I mean, I just think the internet is I mean, it's just the new street, So instead of being out there on those streets, you're out there on those digital streets, just, talking to people, posting stuff,
Do you still wake up early and go and do radio, like local radio shows? Like how many guests that sort of, you look out into the crowd and you see people there, how many of them are there because of the internet? They heard about it online.
Yeah, I have had some videos go viral recently, so that has been driving some people in. But it's a combination. I always love doing radio. I think it has an immediacy that you don't get elsewhere. I just did a show like in Wichita, and I did a morning show. Shout out to B98.
Nice.
Yeah. And Kareth and Lucas and Kareth, they put me on, and I definitely saw people that heard me that morning and said, let's go see this guy because we loved what we heard this morning.
And that's
So-
old school promotion,
Yeah.
still working.
I love that. I mean,
Well, they still have an audience, It's like any AM radio is still around, and they still have an audience.
I love the immediacy of the morning radio. It's a whole different thing than podcasts. Because when I do a podcast, it's more you're talking about like you can go long form, but when you're doing morning radio,
Get to the bits.
yeah, you got to get to the bit. You're almost performing a show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like a live show.
Yeah.
And this podcast, we're just going to erase most of this and then kind of edit around the parts that were good. This is
So
not
the
going
whole
to
show
make
is
it.
just going to be me? Is that what you're trying
What
to
I'm
say?
saying right now, not going to make the cut.
Quick, do a bit.
Yes, Brad. I like how you just twisted that into self-affirmation.
Yeah.
So how many people are there because they follow you online and they know when you're coming to town and they call up their friends and they say, oh my God, he's totally coming to Wichita?
Well, the way that I'm doing it now, I'm promoting a lot of my own shows. So I'd say like 90% of the people are like my fans from online, or, they saw me before and they want to come see me again. But then I'll do like a club where I've never been before and the club is promoting more of it. And I'll see, I'll make fans that way, because the club is promoting it more. But I still will have some fans there, like, 25, 30%, something like that.
So I was kind of looking at your website, Cut to Link, and I noticed that there's like a whole page of photos. Can you scroll down this page,
Yeah.
Sean?
Oh,
It's
cool.
you and everybody.
Yeah.
So everybody got a chance to meet you. And then did you tell them where to retrieve their photos to post them on their social media?
Yeah, I tell them to steal it from me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a good pose. I tell that the other guy who's in the pictures with
That's
me.
your 1980s sitcom
yeah,
pose right
my
there.
sitcom.
You
pose.
look so pretty.
Thank you.
Mhm.
It's the lighting, but that other guy, that other guy's one of my best friends, Billy Galewood, and I say, hey, come take pictures with us. I just think I like doing it. Like I do a meet and greet thing before the show for VIPs a lot of times, and then after the show, I like to do it. I just like they came to the show. I want to. It's more selfish for me too because I want to meet them and thank them for like.
Now,
you
when
know.
your fans meet Eric Schwartz, are they disappointed that you're not Smooth E?
Well,
Do you stay in character?
His mom is.
Yeah, my mom. No, I mean I'm always both, I guess, because I have that smoothness in me. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Brett. You want a vet? You want to take a Corvette? You want to what's got going up next? What is the sex of my baby that's not born? I don't know. I'm just freestyling with your name, Brett. And
Nice.
That's what you get.
That's what I get.
Yeah.
And that,
When you met Brett.
When I met Brett
with no threat.
on the set with the video cassette.
Hold up. Yet.
I think. Let's see if you agree with me on this. Do you think Louise should change her name to MC Wheezy?
Yeah.
MC Wheezy Squeezy.
Yeah, and then you could do a cover of "Let Me Clear My Throat."
Look at that big smile she has on right now.
Well, see,
We see
here's the
the
thing.
Stephen Wright of podcasters.
Here's the thing. Did you know, like back in the early days of the internet, before
Yeah.
Lil Wayne started calling himself Lil Wheezy, I was the #1 search result for Wheezy.
Serious?
Nice.
Yeah. And then that guy.
You got to get that back.
Are you still number 2 though?
You could
That's
sue.
still pretty good.
Just sue him.
might be #2. But I want to know why his nickname isn't Lil Wazy. Why does it have to be?
Why little? I think he's a big guy.
I don't know.
No, he's
I
small.
don't know his size.
He really lives up to that little.
Oh.
Yeah, he's
I've
really
never
small.
seen him naked, but
He also
apparently
goes
you
by
have.
Lil Tunchi
Little Tunchi.
because that's what his grandmother used to call him, Tunchi.
See, now that's a way better name.
Are
It
you making
is.
that up?
No, I'm serious. Tunchi.
All right,
Yeah.
cut to Brett Gilbert's website, and we're going to talk about swag. So now, Brett,
swag.
Yes.
because Brett's really good at making swag because he is an artist and a
Mhm.
graphic artist, and that's your new logo, Brett.
That's my new logo.
And-
That's awesome.
What is it? What does it mean? First of all, describe it for people that are listening in the radio and in the car and shouldn't be looking at their screen.
It's like a psychedelic Dr. Seuss.
Yeah, exactly.
But
That's a good description.
why the one eye? Is that like third eye blind
That's what
or?
I thought.
Right. Well, the series I'm currently working on is called Monsters, Flowers, and Mushrooms. So I incorporated every one of those items into my logo.
All right, so it's almost like just like a checklist.
Yeah, kind of. But but that when people see the logo, they understand that that's the style of art that I do, and that's what I primarily the subject matters that I focus on, and it is like the psychedelic art.
Monsters, flowers, and mushrooms. Okay.
Brett and I are going to collaborate one day soon.
Yeah.
We talked about it already.
I wore my best vintage shirt, vintage 70s, just for you, because I
You
went
did?
to your website and it's like all he's wearing is vintage 70s shirts.
All right, so
I
cut back.
won
Can
this
you
for
cut
you.
back to
man.
cut
You
back
weren't-
to Eric's website because we're gonna look at some of Eric's swag because I want to find out like what your top sellers are because
Oh.
you come up with this is I
Oh,
mean
nice.
these are catchphrases from his material. You can go ahead and shout them out.
Okay.
Eric.
I want the Wimp Pimp shirt.
Wimp Pimp. Yeah, that was my first one I ever made.
You got to do it. You got to do it. You got to look
Okay.
in the camera.
Okay,
Look in the
Wimp.
camera.
Right, because this is
Cut,
it comes
cut,
from
to, cut to Eric. Cut to Eric.
comes from this. It
This
goes.
is important.
I know what I look like with my glasses on, but when I take my glasses off, I'm a whole different person. Wimp, Pimp. What's up? What's up?
Yeah.
Right, so Wimp Pimp, and then that Pimp has that longer arrow. The Pimp part, it has a longer arrow, and Pimp actually glows in the dark.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
It's-
is
it's
that
pointing
pointing
to
to
your
your
schlong?
to
Yeah.
your
Yeah,
to your Schwartz.
to my third eye.
Your
Yeah.
your third
Schwartz.
eye?
And then Shalom Cabron, because I'm a quarter step Mexican and Jewish. So
Right.
Shalom Cabron, that's the gray one, silver one.
Nice. I
Shalom.
like the font on that too. Very
Oh,
nice.
thank you. I'm a font savant, actually.
Are you?
Yeah, I have a bit about called Font Savant, but it's not up there. I have a shirt that says Font Savant. It's not up there right now.
And you have free hugs.
Free Hugs, which is you've seen the normal Free Hugs shirts, and I thought when I saw the phrase Free Hugs, I was like, wait, I got suspicious. I said, hold up, who is Hugs and why is he locked up? So my Hugs is a teddy bear behind bars with a teardrop and a tattoo on his stomach that says Hug Life.
So
Nice.
it
They wouldn't
Yeah.
let him have the necklace though in prison because he'd hang himself with it.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. That's true.
Oh,
He
Brett,
would.
you think
He
of
would.
everything.
He's. I
Safety
mean, he thinks
first.
of everything.
Yeah.
And then that
I have a
one,
dark sense of humor.
I
Oh, there-
make
is there-
an emoji. It's holy. I don't know if we can swear on this podcast.
Shirt.
Holy shirt. Yeah, it is called Holy Shirt.
I heard
Holy
that's actually
shirt.
supposed to be like a chocolate swirl in the beginning,
They
and people just assumed it was poop. I don't know why an emoji company would make poop.
Why would they make an eggplant?
That is true.
Well, it's definitely known
They
as the
didn't-
poop emoji, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, they made like a green penis, and people are mistaking it for an eggplant.
Agree. Yeah.
Maybe it's just a tiny grimace.
Wait, what website was that?
It's like
How come when I show my green penis, no one says eggplant?
greenpenis.com. All
I
right,
guarantee that exists. Let's punch that up. I guarantee you there's
Alien
greenpenis.com. There's a website for everything, for every fetish you can think of.
It's big on St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah. What's their swag look like?
So we're gonna go news diving. Is everyone ready?
Yeah, let's go news diving.
All right, hold your nose. Has everyone read about the Fresno State professor who attacked Barbara Bush on Twitter and then taunted her employers to come at her because she's tenured? Can you click on that, John?
Yeah.
Oh, it took you to the Green Penis site?
So
No.
he's captivated by
Everything goes to
greenpenis.com.
greenpenis.com.
Just as a side note, it just seems like, didn't we lose pop-up ads like in the 90s? All of a sudden they're back. Like I went to this website just now, but look, the whole thing is a
Well,
web.
it's because then
it's a promo for.
yeah, but if it's the LA Times, so there's only so much they show you for free. This is their model. Is like we only show you so much for free, and then you have to subscribe.
I understand.
Now on my desktop, I've subscribed, so this doesn't happen to me because I am supporting local
Yes.
news and reporters.
Yeah.
But here in the studio, but now we see her. There she is, and I can read about her. Rhonda Gerard, an author and associate professor who teaches creative writing at the school, Fresno State, stirred outrage with tweets she sent within an hour of the announcement that Barbara Bush, the wife of President George H.W. Bush and mother of George W. Bush, had died. She tweeted, Barbara Bush was a generous and smart and amazing racist who, along with her husband, raised a war criminal. And then she tweeted, I'm happy the witch is dead. Can't wait for the rest of the family to fall to their demise the way 1.5 million Iraqis have. Bye.
So she doesn't like Barbara Bush?
I like her like Valley Girl slurs to it. Bye.
And so then what ensued was a whirlwind of anger that kicked up, and Gerard taunted her critics, bragging about her $100,000 salary as a tenured professor. She also shared the phone number of a suicide hotline at Arizona State University, claiming it was her own number. And then she declared, I will never be fired. University leaders Wednesday pushed back at Gerard's comments, which came about a year after another professor at the campus was placed on paid leave after writing on Twitter that President Trump must hang to save American democracy. So the heads of the university were saying that there's a limit to what a tenured professor can claim as free speech. You know, you still have to represent the university and behave professionally. And this just seems like schoolyard meanness, rather like because she could have composed those same thoughts eloquently and articulately and respectfully after
Maybe use that degree of hers.
Yeah, that English degree.
Well, you could
Where
also
she's
just say.
teaching, you know what I
You
mean?
could also just say that Trump said it.
Ooh.
You know,
Well,
there's no difference.
I kind of think this
a
whole
good
thing
point.
is like inspired by that meanness
Exactly.
that's going on, and I don't know if it seemed to have started in 2016 to me, of people just not caring about others' feelings and just going for the jugular, just being mean to each other.
But what opened the door to Trumpism being as warmly accepted as it was? What about our time?
Our time.
Well, there would have been a candidate like Trump, let's say, in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and they wouldn't have made it past the first round of primary. I don't think somebody with that combination of arrogance and ignorance would have made it into the first primary debate.
I think I know where you're going with this, and I
right.
think it's the birth of the internet that gave birth to all of that, because now it's not just a ratings game with the TV, the TV ratings. Now it's not, you're fighting for attention on the internet, and it's basically like, we all know Trump's original plan was to just do this as a PR scam, and then when he started actually winning, then he was like, oh, maybe I'll actually go for it.
I think, I was going to say the same thing, because I noticed more people, because there's an anonymity to the internet, you can say, it just inspired people to be more comfortable with like calling people out, or like, being quick to jump on somebody or criticize or call somebody a name.
But even on Twitter, when they actually use their name, her Twitter handle is his name, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
The professor?
Yeah.
Rhonda Gerard? I'm not sure.
I would imagine because I found her rather quickly.
Okay.
But she's not like in front of the bushes saying that. Like that's the anonymity.
Right, she's hiding in her in her room behind her desktop. I know what you're saying.
right. Yeah.
But it also feels kind of like a professional wrestler kind of
right.
position where you're just going to be in everyone's face and throw a chair and there's going to be wild cheering.
Mhm.
And the internet celebrates that behavior, not just in a wrestling arena, but wildly. Like, oh my God, you're finally saying what I've been thinking for so long.
Yeah, and I tried to take her side of thinking for when I read this article, and like, okay, well, what if, the people would argue that Barbara Bush wasn't what she was describing, but let's just give her the benefit of the doubt and say that Barbara Bush was exactly what she's describing, and even then, it helps her argument to be civil about how she talks about, because now if she's just stooping down to that level, then she's a target for criticism.
But
Right.
at the same time, mission accomplished, no pun intended with the Bush administration. She's in an article in the LA Times getting all sorts
That's
of
true.
publicity.
That's
Oh,
true.
it's not just the LA
So-
Times. It was like across.
Oh, yeah.
It was on greenpeanuts.com
that's-
too.
It was.
I think that's what we're saying is like they're getting rewarded. They're getting attention because of what they do and these things that they say and being outrageous and saying mean-spirited things the way they say.
That mean spirit. Yeah, that's what it's like, a mean spirit. That's
It's like you were saying about being critical. I mean, that's one thing, and that's important. We need that.
Yeah.
But it's to cross that line into mean-spiritedness and just being bad.
Well,
you
even
know?
just to take out your rage against the Bushes on Barbara, I would say pick another Bush.
Yeah, right.
Because I don't really think that, you're just jumping on the morning to just kind of make a point and make it in a shocking way that I'm going to be so irreverent as to just completely ignore the mourning period and attack somebody's wife and somebody's mother who really wasn't the policymaker.
Right.
If we can do some Cheney hating if everyone's in the mood, because I'm always down for that. But I just don't. I don't know that that's an attractive look.
In a Machiavellian ends justify the means sort of way. It worked.
Have you ever read How to Win Friends and Influence People?
I'm not that interested in winning.
Okay.
Winning it.
Winning friends.
Dale Carnegie.
Yeah, Dale Carnegie.
Yeah.
Classic book. Okay, now the gist of it is, in order to win an argument, you present the other person's, you give credibility to the other person's argument, and you understand that.
You echo them.
Yeah, you give them validity.
I
and
hear
then-
you.
Yeah, I hear you. And
You are valid, Eric. I hear you.
right. Yeah, and that's how you convince. That's how you influence people. So what she's doing. She's not doing that to influence people to get her point across.
Right.
She's just doing it to be mean.
But neither did Trump, and it won him the presidency.
Yeah. I guess you could rewrite the book. I don't know.
Yeah, no, she.
That book was written in the 50s.
Yeah, it's an old
Somewhere
book.
around there.
I don't actually
think
think she's winning
earlier.
friends or influencing people. She's getting attention.
Yeah.
If you read the article, though, she says she grew up in the Persian Gulf, so I'm sure she's experienced decades of her childhood of ducking bombs from the American fighter planes. You know what I mean? So
I
I see where
Yeah.
the rage is coming from.
Right.
Right. I completely understand that, and I want to know more about that.
See, what we're doing is we're giving validity to her thing, right?
Right.
But now,
But I'm
Yeah.
also questioning her capability to be an empathetic professor, because if anybody in her classroom or within her immediate influence raises their hand and says, yes, but is she going to call me names? Is she going to wish that I hang?
No,
I just don't.
My real question is, Fresno State can afford to pay a teacher $100,000?
I guess.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Have you ever done Fresno State as a comic?
No. No.
It's the number one party school in the country.
Is it really?
Yeah. Well,
Well,
it is what I did anyway.
They deserve it. I mean, I like
Number
Fresno,
one
but there's
party
not a lot to
school?
do.
Number one party school.
They're winning.
That and my school, my school back when this survey came out, my school was the second party school in Oswego State because it was just surrounded by the most amount of bars.
Oh.
Oswego, New York?
Oswego, New York.
Cool.
No one's ever heard of that university ever.
I have, because I grew up in Buffalo, New York.
Aha!
I've heard of
So-
it because I know Brett Gilbert.
Oh yeah.
I know Brett
Yeah.
Gilbert.
I'm going to the Smoothie University.
So
I'm going to win friends and influence people.
So we're talking about what Professor Gerard said about
Yeah.
Barbara Bush, what she thought was a good idea to do an hour after the passing of people's grandma. And but she comes maybe from the campus culture, which has been swinging further and further left, and you can call it PC or you can just call it overtly liberal, but it seems to be a thing that's happening. And and you guys as comics, when you perform at colleges, are you noticing that audiences aren't laughing at jokes that people would laugh at in a club, or are people coming up to you and saying, I was offended because my grandma has a lazy eye, and that joke wasn't funny to lazy-eyed people?
You'll get that everywhere, but I remember, like, I haven't done colleges in a long time, and I remember even back probably like 10, 15 years ago, we called it the college attitude.
Okay.
So, like, even if you did a joke that was even slightly, like, shocking, then you would get a lot of, like, bad feedback when you come off stage. But my act was always as such. I was like, yeah, whatever. I don't care.
Brett, you were asshole shaming, and I don't appreciate it. My cousin is an asshole.
My cousin has an asshole.
I got more flack from the people who booked me.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, before I'd step on stage, they'd be like, remember, you can't say the F word. I'm like, did you watch my tape before you hired me?
Oh, I got this one. I was in upstate New York at Ithaca College, and I'll say it if you're watching, person who hired me for Ithaca College. I was on stage there was maybe 6 people at this show, and it was not promoted.
That's your tuition dollars at work.
Yeah.
Moms and dads.
I get there.
And they paid with their
yeah.
their card, with their student ID. They just zipped it.
And he stayed in a hotel, and someone was hired to pick him up, and
Everything was nice.
how
really
much?
Nice.
How much did you make at Ithaca College? Full disclosure,
Over
because we know
$50,000.
that Captain Gerard makes $100,000.
I made $98,000 that night.
Sweet.
Yeah, it was pretty
How
sweet.
much
Alright.
did Smoothie make?
He
'Cause I
made
know
the
you're
other
your team.
2,000.
Sweet.
Yeah.
They split it. Okay, so
Yeah.
what happened?
So I get there, and they did not promote the show at all. There was another huge
Now,
event going on.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Do you send them a promotional kit, like
Yeah.
a
Oh, yeah.
bunch of posters that they can hang around town?
Yeah, but a lot of times it's hit and miss with colleges. Like half the time it'll be a great show where they, everyone's coming to the show, and then this particular time, they had like a huge event going on with like a bunch of bands, and then for some reason, I think they double booked it, and they had me in their cafeteria.
And so the
Oh.
Flaming Lips were 2
Yeah.
doors down.
Yeah, it's
Derek Schwartz.
1988. Yeah, and so the girl, there's people like studying in the cafeteria. They weren't there to see a show.
And they're not even facing you; they're faced away.
No, literally, people are on their laptops right in front of me, and I try to be really nice. Hey, there's a show going on. Take a break from studying, and I'm
They
gonna
put
do...
on their headphones.
Yeah.
And just turn on YouTube.
Yeah, that
Free
was...
hugs! Free hugs!
They killed my merch that night. And the worst thing though was that the girl who hired me was also running my sound cues. I do some musical stuff, and then I'm like, I go to a sound cue and I go, hit it. And she's texting on her phone. She's not even paying attention.
Wow.
And
At
then
that point, who cared?
the feedback back to my agent was he was mean.
Oh.
And I'm like, dude, I was trying to get your guys' attention in this 6-person show, and you're not even paying attention.
But you got
You're not
paid,
even
right?
watching.
You still
Wow.
got paid, right?
Oh yeah.
Then success.
But okay, but to say our college students, I've slowed down my colleges after that traumatic experience.
Yeah.
No,
That and you're over 35, aren't you?
I don't know.
Oh, they don't
Yeah.
want. Really? So college students can't laugh at someone who's over 35?
Well, for me, the older you get, the less you can relate to them because
Okay.
and I always had a problem with because my act was always rated R, so like half my act was like sex jokes, you know what I mean? And then you get hired and they're like, yeah, don't talk about sex, and we're like, but you're performing to college students,
Yeah.
so that's all they want to talk about.
Right.
It's all different. Every show is different. Sometimes you can talk about it. Sometimes you can't. I've done like all Catholic schools, and I just had to adjust. But I kind of think like who you're talking to, and you adjust what you're gonna say to them, or how you're gonna say it, how you're gonna preface it, and that usually works out for me. But yeah, I think people are just in general like you say something about race that's not derogatory at all. That's actually celebrates, which is a lot of stuff that I do, and some people are taking it the wrong way of like you can't even talk about being raised with the Mexican stepfather. That's racist. Like that's very few and far between. But
Right.
that's totally. It's just my experience. So I think people are very sensitive, overly sensitive. Some people are.
So have you guys heard of Jerry Corley's Comedy Clinic?
No.
Okay. Could you please click on the link, John?
Is that when you get like hepatitis and you have to go there?
Yeah.
No,
Jerry
it
Corley,
will say-
the comedy clinic. You
They,
get something in a comedy
They
club.
cure you with jokes.
So Jerry writes, it's about the audience. Yes, the college kids are overtly PC, but it's not ruining comedy. As a comedian writer, you should learn the acronym MAP, Material, Audience, Performer. The material has to suit the performer and suit the audience. When the audience changes, the material has to adjust.
Yeah,
I
don't know if that's
agree.
true. I don't know about that.
I think people disagree on that.
Okay?
Yeah.
No,
I would agree with that.
Do you have 2 acts? One for like rated G and another one for like a rated R act?
No.
You-
I guess
You
kind of
play the Ice House too. See, it's mostly Latino crowds at the Ice House. So do you tailor your act towards that?
I kind of feel like every audience is like, let's say you're going to talk to your grandmother and make your grandmother laugh versus your 3-year-old niece. Like, you're going to talk to them differently and you're going to say different things. To me, that's what it looks like. That's what it seems like. But I also feel like I've done the same bit to 2 way different audiences in 2 different ways, just because I feel like, okay, what if I'm in that audience? How would I be receptive to that topic? You know what I mean? So yeah, I do adjust it just because it's like I'm talking to somebody different. I don't know.
Yeah, so it's like read the room. Like whether you're doing comedy or just talking to people, when you walk into a room, you kind of assess who's there, what your interaction is going to be like according to who they are. Or you'll tailor a set list when you walk into a room and say, oh, it's like a lot of these types of people. Let me cut this and add that.
Yeah.
Or the other option that helped me a lot was it was put in my rider that there has to be a sign before you enter the building that says this show is rated R. If you're easily offended, do not attend.
Yeah.
And that actually made a huge difference in my touring.
I told you what happened with you when my nephew was little, right?
What?
Well, this is how naive you can be when you don't have kids, because we were performing at a coffee house, and so I told my sister, well, of course everything's clean. We're at a coffee house.
Yeah.
But like there's different levels of clean, right? So just because no one's cursing or talking about sex doesn't mean that it's appropriate for a 4-year-old. For example, Brett could have told a joke about sex and it would have gone right over his head because he had no frame of reference. But when Brett talked about his grandfather drowning puppies, my sister grabbed her son and marched out of the coffee house glaring at me like it was my fault.
I know that exact joke is because I grew up on a farm.
Yeah.
And it's like, and in the farm, you have to, when the dog gives birth to farm, you can't pay for all the dogs. So you end up having to get rid of some of the puppies. So it's like, what happens when you help your grandfather drown puppies on a farm?
Oh.
The little puppy in you dies.
Oh.
which is a great joke, and that story is a perfect example of what can go wrong because you do not know what's going to be offensive to every person.
Right, and also
can't.
like Brett, I saw your face when I said I'll adjust to some people, and you were like, I would never do that. That was
No.
what I was like.
Chris Rock wouldn't do that. George Carlin certainly didn't do that.
Yeah, I think every performer is different. So like if you put a sign up that says like, you know, like when I've had to perform in front of like 65 and above, solely only 65 and above, you know what I mean? Like where there's
That's when you fire your agent.
yeah, I've done a couple shows like that. where
I've done those too. You go there and it's just
Yeah.
all gray heads, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh boy, this is gonna go bad.
And then it's not like if you know, people that are that age came to a show where it was everybody, all different kinds of people, they would love the show. But because it's only that, I wish I could put a sign up that says if you're under 65 or over 65, you might not get a lot of this. You know, like if you don't know who Justin Timberlake is, that's not my fault. You know?
Well, Sinbad has said in interviews that he has 2 acts. One for when he does colleges, when it's mostly white students, and then when he does the black colleges, he has a different act. So he does tailor. So it all depends on on the performer. Like I highly doubt, like Sam Kinison had 2 different acts. One for sensitivity. You know what I'm saying?
One where he whispers, one where he yells.
All right, so I found this article in the New York Times. This was kind of interesting. The article is called "Friendship's Darker Side," and it raises the question: do we need to share a common enemy to make a friend? This New York Times article is written by Natalie Angier. I don't know how to pronounce her name. That makes her my enemy, or me her enemy. I'm not sure. Angier. And so, do we bond with others by creating common common enemies, and it made me remember this. Like Joe's not here today, but Joe Cipriano hosted or something a dating video back when you would like make a video just to sell it. It was,
back in the 80s?
Yeah. And I wrote it, and my job was to make the sketches funny, but he hosted it, or he was the guy acting out like the scenarios. And so one of the dating tips was that like if you're at a party or a function and you want to bond with a young lady, you can look at her and say like, everyone else here sucks. Like, and then, turn towards each other and sort of bond over the idea that it's just you and me against the world. So yeah. I think there's a lot of truth to that. I think that is how we relate to people.
Well, we're a tribal people.
Yeah.
It's like we formed gangs and like, just to protect ourselves from being eaten by other animals. I guess it goes way back, and then you form a gang to protect yourself from the other gangs and the other campfire over there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's like, don't trust the people with the bigger foreheads because they're going to come down here and take our food and our women.
Or Negan's alive, but the way of doing he does things is dead.
You know what that's from?
No.
The Walking Dead, the season finale.
I was going to say Gilmore Girls, but I wouldn't have gotten it.
I know what you're saying. The
what I'm
sneeches on the
asking
beaches.
is the internet exacerbating this part of human nature? Where it's like going like on a global level, we can divide ourselves to just be convening with our core like-minded people, and everyone else is other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Instead of just village by village, now we're doing it globally.
Well, fortunately, that's human nature. That's just the way it's thousands of years of evolution is doing that for survival reasons. And I think we can all agree.
I think we should all agree just so we can prove this article right.
Yes.
Oh.
But we can all agree that mimes suck, right?
Mimes are horrible.
Yeah.
No comment.
People choose friends who resemble themselves right down to the moment-to-moment pattern of blood flow in the brain. The tendency towards homophily, toward flocking together with birds of your inner and outer feather, gives rise to a harmonious sense of belonging and shared purpose, to easy laughter and volumes of subtext mutually, wordlessly, joyfully understood. Homophily, researchers said, is also the basis of tribalism, xenophobia, and racism. The urge to otherize those who differ from you and your beloved friends in one or more ways. So I get that it was like initially kind of programmed into us for survival and safety purposes, but what do we want to push back against that, even as we find common friends?
Yeah, I always try to like accept my friends with different viewpoints. I always try to keep my mind open, stay flexible about, if somebody doesn't agree with me, because I want to understand why. Like if somebody has a different viewpoint.
Why would somebody go to greenpenis.com?
Yeah. Who are those people? And how can I...
They are my people.
Well, you can use them in your act too.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think it's good for it. It's like diversity within diversity of viewpoints, I guess.
Yeah, but what if they're just
But screw
wrong?
those people, though.
Yeah.
Screw those
I don't hang out with those people for fun. But,
it's all business.
Yeah. It's all like, okay, I need you to give me the other viewpoint.
I think it helps to sort of challenge yourself. Like whenever you feel threatened or bothered or irritated by the presence of somebody, to challenge yourself to see their humanity.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be in the right mood to do it, because sometimes you just cut them off and give them the finger and drive on. But other days you're just like, oh, that could be... And here's a good way of thinking of it. Like the person ahead of you in traffic who's really on your last nerve, 5 years from now could be the surgeon who saves your life.
That's true.
And if you just look at everyone who's bothering you that way, how we are more connected than we're all given this human framework within which we operate. So we're going to get irritated because that's just what you do when the person in front of you has more than 8 items. You're going to be irritated.
That's me.
It says you're going to want to point pointedly at the sign.
Right.
But maybe she's got 5 kids at home. I've got 0. Maybe she's hungrier than me.
Right.
You don't know why she did that. There could be something pressing in her life that I'm free of that worry. I'm free of that concern, and just be thankful for your peace of mind and let someone kind of jump ahead of you.
So what you're saying is it's best to see the humanity in others.
Yeah, especially when you feel triggered.
Yeah.
It's easy to do it when you're at some sort of festival and everyone's a little buzzed. then it's like, yeah, we're all one. I get it.
What festivals do you go to? Lisa?
You
I
know.
don't see you as a big festival person. Or
Were you at
getting buzzed.
Coachella?
I have a
Were you-
closet full of light sticks.
Nice.
Really?
No. I
You
do
just
not.
cut
She's
loose?
rolling right now.
I'm rolling.
Don't you
Yeah.
think another part of it too, in addition to what you're saying, is how we take things personally? Like most of
yeah.
the time, when people do cut us off or whatever it is, we make this assumption that they did it to us on purpose. But
Oh,
most of
yeah.
the time,
I would never cut you off on purpose.
They need to read the 4 agreements, guys.
How-
Don't take anything personally.
What are the 4 agreements?
4 agreements are: don't take anything personally.
Right.
Do your best.
Right.
Kill all humans.
You kill all humans. No.
no dead puppies.
Oh
No
shoot!
dead puppies.
I can't
And
think of the other ones.
greenpenis.com.
Always do your best. Do you know them? No. Don't make assumptions. Right. And
Good, Scott.
4th one is
Obviously, these
Remember
aren't
the
very good
4
because you can't
Visit
remember
Greenpenis-
4.
greenpenis.com.
There's 4, and you can't remember them all.
Look them up, Scott.
yeah. Shoot. What was the 4th one?
Can't believe you can't remember this. Hashtag sad.
Okay. Don't make assumptions. Always do your best.
Oh, we're gonna sit here forever while he
What was
tries
the
to work
third one?
this out.
The third one was the first one that I just said.
Somebody pray to Lord Google. Figure this out.
Here we got it.
What are
4
they, John?
agreements. Don Miguel Ruiz. Great book. It's like a brain massage. Reading this book.
You read a lot of self-help books, don't you? How to influence friends. And
Yeah, they're good.
Oh my God.
People have already done the work. You just like fall in love. Okay, that's how you do it. That's what books are. People already did the work. Books are just cheat sheets on life.
They are.
Don't you
much.
think so? I mean, some of them are
That's
stories.
a great way to think about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some of you already did it.
Are we moving on to the next topic, or are we going to get that 4th one?
I thought they
Oh,
were looking
man.
it up, but now I'm looking it up.
All right.
No,
But
you're
no,
just
keep-
you're just texting.
I'll put them in there. I'll pepper in there in the next.
All
the
right.
next
So
topic.
I have another news story that I think Brett especially is going to love because I think he's going to see himself in this man.
Oh, really? So he must be
Over-
good looking.
Yeah. Overwhelmed postal carrier in Brooklyn hoards 17,000 pieces of mail because he
Weird.
just didn't feel like delivering them.
Now, were they like? Could he tell that they were like junk mail, or was it actually like
I don't know. They
packages?
were. That's a good question. They were still trying to determine what it was and whether or not it would, now that they found it, get delivered. I guess there it is. Like someone saw these postal trucks just full of. They looked like people who live in their cars. They were like piled to the rim with clutter. And then they looked in the neighborhood to see who worked for the post office that lived near where those cars were parked. Maybe he had them in his cars. I'm not sure. And they narrowed it down to this guy. 17,000 pieces of mail.
Someone's missing their social security.
And
check.
so it raises the question, do we even need postal mail? Like, would you guys be cool if it only came on Saturday?
That's about how often I check it now. But I check
It's-
email every 10 seconds.
Right. So we get enough junk email. Do we really also need the junk postal mail? Because that's probably 95% of mail. Correct?
Yeah, he said he said he only took the non-important stuff.
But how did he know? How did he? You know what I mean? How does he know what's in it? Was he opening the mail?
I want my Bed Bath & Beyond 20%
Because the
off.
mail is still how you'd send your niece a check for her college graduation. That's still
That's true.
how you do things like that, right?
Yeah. Well, that's how I send my art prints to people, the fans who want to buy them.
Right.
I just send those through the mail. FedEx. Well, it doesn't matter FedEx or.
I think
whatever.
we still need mail, but I'd be comfortable with 2 days a week. I don't think you need it more than that. It's mostly junk mail.
but
isn't
what
it?
like Amazon stuff?
Yeah, but does that come through the mail or through
Yeah.
UPS?
I'm not
Ooh,
sure.
Just
yeah,
magically
I
appears
think
on
they
my-
do have a deal with some big company. I don't think it's the post office.
I mean, I think if Paul Revere could get it there. Oh, who's the post office one? Who's the post? I need to read
Kevin
more books.
Costner.
Yeah, who's the guy who did the post office? Paul Revere's the British are coming, not the mail's coming.
Right. The Pony Express?
Pony Express. I get those mixed up because he was on a horse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you
need to
know
read
the
some more of
Pony?
those
I think the
books.
Pony Express was only like the Pony Express only lasted for like 2 years, and then the trains went through.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Okay.
but I mean, we could look
See?
that up.
You
Are
get
I thought
entertained
you were
and you learn
giving
on
me
this
another
show.
dead pony story.
No,
I thought you were gonna give me.
it's just hard to get too angry at the guy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
Clearly, it's either he's actually stealing it and going through the mail and taking like loose money that he's finding or whatever, or he's got some sort of weird hoarding disease. You know what
he
I'm
might
saying?
have that, and he might also be one of those guys who's just like, I'll do that tomorrow, and then you just never do it.
He's a postal guy, and he's just like, I'll do what I want. I got an AK-47 in the back of this mother effer.
I think it'd be harder to store it. He stored it in his house and in trucks and stuff like that?
Yeah, it'd be easier to just give it to other people.
Yeah, throw it away.
It's just like, how many Bed Bath & Beyond cards does one man
Yeah.
need?
I know this guy. I mean, you should. That's what they should do is look at his Bed Bath & Beyond spending history because he might be stealing those coupons.
I think so. I
That's
think
what
is.
he wants.
Yeah.
He's getting everyone's coupons.
Yep.
He's getting like great deals on dry cleaning.
Does
He-
greenpenis.com send out snail
He
mail?
has more tub mats than anyone in America.
So, Louise, what
Yes.
happened to this guy? Did they?
I'm not sure.
We need
Did you-
closure. We need
Yeah.
closure.
We'll have to read the whole article, which I haven't done.
We're waiting for the rest of the.
second. You
The-
haven't even read it.
I
the
read
rest-
it, but I don't remember
The
it.
rest of the article is coming in the mail.
Mostly yeah. This article was mostly what I just read to you in the headline, and then them saying we don't know yet.
You
all
see,
the obvious
you
questions.
see, it's the USA Today phenomenon where people just they want one
Yeah.
paragraph article, and that's all they want.
but
Well,
we have some important work to cover. What do you have, John?
Well, no. I was just going to say because stealing mail is a federal offense,
oh
right?
yeah, no, I think
Yeah.
that he's going to be punished.
Right.
Yeah.
So steal it and
So
opening is
parking-
just two
Maybe-
separate offenses.
like literally, he parked mail. He didn't maybe necessarily steal it, but
Oh,
yeah,
this is the
yeah,
gray
okay.
area because
Oh.
he's part of the Postal
Yeah.
Service, right? He's just like, no, it's just on hold over here.
Yeah, he's gonna go to mail jail.
mail jail.
Mail jail.
Pun. That's a pun.
Oh, mail jail.
Yeah,
Yeah,
mail
I get
jail.
it.
They'll
Yeah.
send him to work for MailChimp.
Not MALE.
Oh, not mail jail. No, that's normal jail.
That's that's normal jail.
I think he. I think he may have to become like EPA chairman or something.
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
Topical humor.
Oh. So
Speaking of,
Twitter wars. And
Oh,
gonna
good
do.
segue. Look at that.
We're gonna do Twitter
Weezy's
wars.
a pro.
Yeah, and this is how you get mad at people online in the most efficient means possible. Correct.
Yes.
So, Eric, I was going to ask you guys, have you ever engaged in a Twitter war? And Eric immediately came to the table with a true real life story, which will
Mm-hmm.
soon to be TV movie. Eric,
You got involved in a Twitter war?
oh, he did.
yeah, I
With
didn't.
who?
I
Who?
didn't
Who?
engage
Who?
it.
Who?
Do you remember this girl Becky Buckwild?
No, but she sounds crazy.
She was a comic. I say that in quotes, but for like a hot second, she was a comic, and then we were friends. And I wouldn't have used the quotes unless this happened. But she was on like Love and Hip Hop or whatever, and I did I'll just read you remember when Toys R Us closed?
Yeah, it was
On-
like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, on 3/15/18.
Too late for all those people who didn't get their coupons from
Yeah.
Toys R Us.
So I tweeted, I am so bummed. My entire 401k was tied up in Toys R Us gift cards. That was my tweet.
Funny.
Bad investment, right?
I heard
Now,
it.
if I was a professor at Fresno, I'd be like, "That's all you racist thing.
So how does
Your
somebody
mother should die."
So how does somebody get offended from that? Well,
I don't know.
Becky Buckwild.
Ah.
This joke might be funny if people who actually worked there weren't being fired and are no longer given the opportunity to have a 401k through them.
Hashtag zing.
That is totally unrelated to what I said. I
Hashtag
was
me
not
too.
talking
Hashtag
about
me too. Hashtag sad.
I wasn't talking about anybody who worked there. I was talking about myself, a consumer,
And she's a
putting his
comic.
401k into
Yes,
Toys R
I
Us
see the
gift
constructed
cards.
joke
Yeah.
that you did, and she just went serious all of a sudden, and she forgot that she's a comic.
So I said, that's a totally different thing. But I don't blame you for going somewhere unrelated since you've been off stage forever. Oh,
he took it to the personal.
Ouch, ouch.
He went to the personal.
To which she
wow, that was like
replied,
your first response to her, and you went straight to her personal.
He
yeah.
went there.
Oh, how dare she?
He
Wow,
went straight
is she
there.
overweight too? Do you gonna go
I
after
don't
her
know.
caloric level?
Well, I'm gonna say
Lazy-eyed.
I'm gonna say
she walked with a cane.
I'm gonna say there's something about her she doesn't like because she is using an animated drawing of herself as her avatar.
Huh.
So
Okay.
Well, maybe
she's
she's
afraid to show herself.
Yeah, but she
guess.
could be
But
a
you
good
already know
artist.
what she looks like.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think that her appearance really matters to me.
She's not really going buck wild here,
No.
where she's hiding.
Okay, then
Yeah.
what happened?
And okay, so then she goes, this from the guy who gets 7 likes and is a, quote, working comic. Girl, bye.
Oh,
Wow. You got girl bide?
7 likes.
7 likes on my most recent
Barbara
one.
Bush got girl bide.
Yeah, girl, bye.
She's saying you have a little penis.
Yeah, and if she would have scrolled down to see the rest of it, then she would have seen more likes. Okay?
Right.
So I said,
You're a grower, not a shower.
so
Is that what
I
you're trying to say?
yeah. So I
Scroll
scrolled
down, baby.
deep into her timeline.
Nice.
Deep.
Nice.
Deep
Oh,
down
yeah.
into her timeline. I scrolled deep and I said, check your own timeline, boy. Because she called me a girl.
Right, I
Right,
get it, I
right,
get
right.
it.
So she goes,
I don't
I
think that
said your
translates as
joke
well.
wasn't funny. I said what I said. Emoji going like this. I don't know. The girl going, I
This
don't know.
is severe.
You can say anything you want as long as you put like a little happy face at the end of it. It's fine.
So she
I
said,
was just kidding.
To
I
me-
hate the Jews. Sorry.
why do you need to tweet that? I said your joke wasn't funny. I said what I said. You just said the same thing you didn't say. You said it again, saying nothing.
Again, structured joke. Like
Right.
it. I see it. I see the funny.
So I said, I'm cool with that party hat emoji.
Hmm.
And then somebody else,
Are you guys friends now?
I'm willing.
Are you dating?
I
you
think so. I
dating?
hope so.
Well,
I,
if this was an 80s
And then someone else weighed in
love
and-
movie.
I want her
Yeah.
to accept my friend request on what?
WhatsApp.
Tinder?
Greenpenis.com,
Greenpenis.com.
I
See,
tried to
I-
give it to you.
I didn't know that was a social site.
Oh yeah, it
I
is.
thought you just went there to get green penises.
It's a social network, Brett. It's where people make friends.
Oh, okay. Well, that's where I order my green penises, and the post office hoards them.
It's the place.
And then Barbara Bush dies when she gets one. And then the Fresno teacher tweets
And
about
full
it.
circle. Okay. So that was an excellent Twitter war.
That was a good Twitter
Way
war.
to bring it.
I don't know who won, but I'm going to say I did.
I think you owned her.
I don't know.
All right. So are you guys familiar with the Hannity Kimmel Twitter war of a few weeks ago?
I did.
Yes.
I
'Cause
did
it was
read
pretty
the article.
epic.
It was
Well,
funny.
Please open the curtains to Twitter War Theater. Brett, you'll be playing the part of Sean Hannity. You have a script underneath your coffee cup.
Oh, okay.
Eric, you'll be playing the part of Jimmy Kimmel.
I'm Sean Hannity. Okay.
So I thought that today, with the talented cast that we have here in the studio, we could perform the Kimmel Hannity Twitter War as it is, high prose, and will lend itself to riveting theater.
Okay.
Playing the part of Jimmy Kimmel, please welcome Eric Schwartz. And
Hi, everybody.
Sean Hannity. A round of applause for Brett Gilbert.
Yay! Okay, I gotta
And the
get into
curtain
Sean Hannity
rises
character.
on Jimmy versus Sean.
I gotta
let's
get into character for Sean Hannity.
All right,
Does
hold
anyone
on.
have a stick I can put up my ass?
Oh!
let me set the stage. Jimmy's show featured a bit where Melania read an Easter book and some fun was had with her accent. Sean took issue on his show calling Jimmy an ass clown, and he tweeted.
At Jimmy Kimmel.
Okay,
attacking.
okay. At Jimmy Kimmel attacking Milana Chump while reading a book to kids. What happened to Mr. Morality attacking a woman who is helping children? This is at Disney ? Hashtag pervert Kimmel.
And then,
So at Jimmy,
unfamiliar with scripts.
I didn't rehearse.
Yeah.
Sean. So at Jimmy Kimmel, aka Harvey Weinstein Jr. I'll have much more tomorrow at Disney, TikTok, best Sean, hashtag pervert Kimmel. I see what he's doing here. He's trying to get Disney to fire him by putting at Disney. He's so clever.
And then Jimmy Kimmel says,
Jimmy.
Thank goodness we have a kind, tolerant men like you to protect our nation from bullies.
Stop picking on women that can't fight back, Mr. Harvey Weinstein Jr. Why don't you be a grown-up and simply apologize?
When your clown makeup rubs off on Trump's ass, does it make his butt look like a creamsicle?
Harvey Jr., you have over 100 writers. You are in last place. That's all you have? ? Hashtag keep up. You are a poor man's Colbert. What is hashtag keep up? What is that? Is that a thing?
I think he's making it a thing.
He's making it a thing?
Hmm.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt.
And you, a poor woman's Rachel at Maddow. She's beating you bigly, right?
Ooh.
Now answer the question.
I was #1 for all cable news in 2017 and the #1 most watched show in the first quarter of 2018. And both Hannity and at Metal Blog kick your ass every night, Mr. Weinstein Jr. on ABC at Disney. And Fallon and Colbert also kick your ass. Perverts like you fail on TV.
Don't worry, just keep tweeting. You'll get back on top. Parentheses, or does Trump prefer you on bottom? Either way, keep your chin up, big fella. XO.
And this is where Jimmy went too far for liberals who do not believe that homosexuality should be a punchline. Philip Henry tweeted, I swear to Beyonce, if you straight people don't stop making things gay because you can't find a way to be clever or original in any other way, we will impose sanctions and cease aid.
Wow, he said that
And
really
scene.
gay-like.
I swear Beyonce.
I swear to Beyonce.
So
Can you
what
make
I
that
liked,
more gay?
What I liked the best about the at Disney was like, I'm telling.
That's exactly what he's doing. That's exactly what he's doing. He's like, they're going to take you off the air at Disney.
So
Was that a gay thing though? I
Well,
don't think that
all
was
right, so
gay.
what
It
I
was
did
more
wanna
sexual.
What I did want to do was comment on, this brings
It was
full
more
circle
man
the
on
whole
man. That's not gay.
the whole idea of offending someone. If you make a punchline gay, isn't that just like saying that Trump and Hannity are too close, in love with each other? Does it have
Yeah.
to be making fun of gay things, or could it just be
No.
making fun of how in love with each other they
What's
are?
really happening here is this person who wrote this swear to Beyonce, he's trying to gain attention to himself and his followers and gain more followers by jumping in on this.
I don't
by
think
jumping
so.
in on something that's not
I
there.
think he was actually offended.
Full disclaimer,
I think it's more what we were talking about earlier. You know what I mean? They're just trying to.
I think
Get
to
more
answer
followers.
this, we would need gay people to I'm not gay.
Is anyone gay?
I'm not. Is
I'm
anyone
gay on Thursdays, so
Oh,
you got
okay.
me one day too soon.
But to me,
You are?
I didn't
That
see
counts,
that
yeah.
as a being gay is
Are
wrong.
you gay? Really?
I'm bisexual. I identify as bisexual.
You're bisexual. I always found
Okay.
that was just a pit stop on the way to gay.
No, there's all kinds of different things. People
So,
are.
yeah.
So you can speak half on this, like 50% wise, right?
Because it is true that punchlines do go there very quickly, and if you're straight, you don't see how someone's offended. I mean, I'm totally down with like listening to his point of view, because I don't think he just tweeted this for attention. I think he was legit like, oh,
I don't know. I don't follow this guy's Twitter
The gay-
Twitter, so I don't really know. But that was like my first assumption, because like this happens all the time. People just jump on it.
I don't know. To me, if I'm gay, I would not see this as like he's making fun of gay people. He's just saying you're so close to Trump that you are doing it with him.
Right.
It'd be the same
That's all I
joke if
saw.
it was a man and woman as a man
Exactly.
and man. To me,
that's how I saw it. But Dina,
Yeah, I mean, I do think the fact that it's portraying two men as being in this situation, I think there's definitely at least a hint of homophobia there.
But you see the funny too, right?
I mean, yes, I'm only like 20% offended.
the percent of you that's gay.
And that's the 50%.
Yes, exactly.
Of
That's
the
exactly
50% that's
how gay
gay.
I am. Yes.
Yeah.
Of the 50% that love women, 20% of that 50.
I guess you
So
could
that's
say
like 1/4.
if it's saying that being
suck
gay
at
is
that.
wrong, or if it's saying being gay is wrong, that or being
Right.
gay
Obviously, it's not.
is the
he's
joke.
not saying that. Right.
Right.
I think
But
what's so
plus
shameful is
also-
being gay for Trump.
Plus, he knows
Because you
that
can
Sean
be gay, but
Hannity-
don't be gay for Trump.
Right, but like the Republicans are notoriously homophobic, so to accuse Sean Hannity of being gay with Trump is like the ultimate insult.
Right. And I think that is kind of some of the ammunition that he's using is, which is why it's kind of offensive, is because he knows that using like a homosexual analogy or whatever is going to be upsetting for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, it's slightly
I'm gay for this
homophobic.
conversation,
Yeah.
And it likes you back.
and it does, but only 20%.
All right, so next what we have is a special feature of the show called Facebook Feed Time.
And
Just imagine
this
there's
show
like,
is all hooked up, man.
yeah,
We got
but there's a
mugs here
cool
with
graphic
the logo
that
on it. Look at
yeah.
the logo.
Everyone, please hold up your.
I don't know,
mugs.
but where did you get this off of? Redbubble?
I got it off Zazzle, which
Zazzle.
I really like.
Yeah, one of those because they put the logo on the front.
Uh-huh.
So if I drink it, you're not gonna see it.
Oh.
See? Oh, he's thinking right here, but I'll drink it so the people can see it. Here we go. Yeah, he's got the idea. Well done.
Zazzle.
So today on Facebook Feed Time,
Zazzle,
I
we
chose
do things weird.
I chose two of our cast and crew members. First, we have John, and John, you can read your. This is a Facebook post by John Maddox.
I'm just going to read it.
Yeah.
Oh.
So for the people at home that can't see, there's a picture of a wrench, a destroyed door handle, and a close-up of a door lock. So this was it. A door got permanently shut by a lock that broke. After much tweaking and cajoling, I had to rip it out of the door in bits. When the manufacturer's name was revealed, it all made sense. And the manufacturer was Defiant, which I thought was pretty strange.
Yeah.
I mean, I've lived in this house for years, never took this lock out before, and there it was, waiting for me.
But it's a kind of a great name for a lock company. It's like Defiant, you will not enter. Yeah. So props to them. And then our next Facebook Feed Time post is by
John Maddox, is he the same guy with that huge like blog following?
Yeah, he's that guy right there.
No, there's another guy, Maddox. I was thinking. Okay, never mind.
Was there? Oh,
I'd like to know who that guy is.
Maddox.
He was like a detective in the 60s.
Mannix.
Oh, Mannix.
Maddox.
Isn't
Is
Rachel
it Mannix?
Maddox?
That sounds familiar.
Rachel Maddox.
Rachel Maddox.
Mad Maddox.
Yeah, Rachel's my sister.
He was in the dystopian
She's beating
world,
Sean Hannity. Rachel Maddox.
as we speak.
but only 20% gay.
At Disney. So Dina has our next Facebook feed time post. And can you pull that up for us?
It's long.
Dina went on some sort of like paranoid Facebook rant that made me question whether or not she should be on this show. Like legit. Because there was
So let me
there's
read
some, like,
it
some
right
deep
now.
paranoia buried in here.
Well,
Go
you
ahead.
have to read it as you felt when you wrote it at the
Right,
first time.
yeah.
So give it that
Do
emotion.
I have to act it out like
Yes.
you guys did with
Yeah.
the tweets?
Stanislavski, let's see it.
Wow. I've never read a Facebook status out loud before.
You should always read before you post because then
Oh,
you'll
I
be
read
you'll
them,
see
yeah.
where you need punctuation.
Wow.
Oh,
wow.
Speaking like
Wow.
a journalism major.
And it's
I
Y-O-U-R,
leave-
not Y-O-apostrophe-R-E.
I leave out. I ironically leave out punctuation
Oh,
on
it's
purpose.
purposeful.
Yeah.
Yeah, she wants
So
it to
in your
really.
face,
Oh.
Eric.
Yeah.
She wants it to look rant-like.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Okay.
Stream of
so
conscious rage. Go ahead.
the first few months of 2018 have really shaken things up. Facebook has made changes to your newsfeed and even some changes in how closely they spy on you through your webcam. Net neutrality has officially died a painful death. The New Yorker slowly but surely is losing its cachet and relevancy. Okay, yeah, this does sound
There's a
kind
lot
of
of big
crazy.
words
I
here.
feel like this
And
is
the
you at
youth-
85, just sitting behind your computer going, they're after
Totally. Find where you fit in to all this because the rate of change is only going to be speeding up from here on out.
Hashtag.
Monday Ramble.
There it is.
All right, so what did you mean?
So basically, I
Forgot the
have
period.
a very.
Life is an information highway.
I have a
I
very
wanna ride it
superficial understanding of politics and world events based on sort of information I've cobbled together from like memes and other internet ephemera.
Ooh, okay, hold on. Someone Google
Whoa.
ephemera.
Is
I
it
think it's a
ephemera
bone.
or
It's a
ephemera?
bone in your like
Oh,
forearm.
Ephemera is the verb.
I think you're right. I think
There's
it
the
is
noun. I mean,
ephemera.
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 What is it? I really don't know.
What is
it's,
it?
it's like the
It's-
nebulous.
Things that don't last very long, like things that are only supposed to be around for like
Oh, okay.
momentarily, like
Okay.
Flyers for like concerts and stuff like that. That's
Gotcha.
Bed
considered
Bath and
ephemera.
Beyond coupon.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
that's
all right.
how
So
I got all
went
that.
right to hold the
And-
Facebook is spying on us with our webcams, and I Googled that.
Right.
And now my computer thinks I'm paranoid. But that took me to, interestingly enough, the Daily Mail UK has the answer. In other words, Facebook was looking into this.
On how to
And-
activate people's.
Yeah, and they were looking into the technology and how it would help them, so that if you smile at kitten videos, Facebook would show you more kitten videos. My question is, how about if
Really?
you don't smile at kitten videos? Is that like a 5150 where they lock you up because you're dangerous to yourself or others? Like who's so depressed they don't smile at kitten videos? So
They can actually access your camera.
I
Is
don't
that
think
true?
they can,
This
but
sounds
they
like a-
definitely in 2015
If
when
they
that
wanted
article was
to.
written, they were looking into it. They know they can. I think there's so much that these tech companies know that they could do. Because it's almost like the FBI has been over and they've installed something, and it's not the FBI, it's not the government, it's these companies, and they're deciding what to deploy. They could deploy a lot more than they're deploying, or they already are. And so, what did you mean when you typed that?
I mean,
Do
I
you think they already are?
I actually don't think that. I just think it's funny to consider that. And there's sort of like the running joke on the internet that Facebook is doing that based on basically like how they know, all these things about. Obviously, there's different ways that Facebook is spying on you. And that's like definitely happening.
Well, look, let me clear something up because I think Facebook has. I'm going to take Facebook's side on this.
No, I don't think it's
Yeah.
necessarily bad, but yeah.
No,
go
but
on.
I think I think you guys are right that there is the ability, that ability exists. Like, have you ever, back in the day, did you ever get calls from people and it was a recording of what just happened in your room? Like, did you ever
What?
get that? I used to get calls where it was like, the audio on the other end was me, or like I used to get messages in my phone of like, and I heard the audio and I was like, oh, that was just me, like 10 minutes ago. I don't know why did that call. So it was being
I have
recorded.
never
What?
heard of that.
Oh, you
I
never got
remember
that?
when there were
Okay.
answering machines.
How long ago
I
were
once
you
came
off of
home.
hallucinogens?
I came home and played a message, and it was
Yeah.
like, I won't say who it was because it's someone who I work with, or I used to work with, and they thought they had hung up, and then the rest of and then you hear them, it's a husband and wife,
Yeah.
and they're talking about how like I'm sharing all of their secrets with Rick Dees, and like all of their paranoia was like,
What's Rick D's gonna do with that?
it was back in the time when I worked for Rick Dees.
Right,
So it's
right.
like
But
they
what's he
thought they
gonna
had
do
hung
with it?
up, and then I heard them conspiring as if I were conspiring against them, which I wasn't. But it was like so I never told them. I just thought it was funny. But it's like we're all vulnerable to whatever we say at any moment
Right,
because
yeah.
we could be recorded.
Well, I think Facebook
Right?
is
I
entering
mean,
a
not right
dangerous.
now. We're
Even
not being
back
recorded
when they
right
were
now,
just-
though, right? We're not being
No,
recorded.
nothing's being recorded.
Okay.
Okay.
No,
Okay,
Thomas
okay.
is not here. So
I mean, I'm just talking to this thing,
But Facebook is entering a dangerous area. I mean, if they want to activate my camera on my computer, they're going to see things they don't want to see.
he has
yeah, you
two
can't
kids.
unsee it.
Yeah.
You can't.
I've done
So-
things to myself in front of my computer that
I
no one
assume
needs
like
to know.
that 99.9% of men have done that. So what I think is going to happen is like if they deploy the webcams, there's going to be an algorithm that reads your expression. There's just like, oh, he's jerking off, or she's looking at kittens. You know, that's just going to be.
What if you jerk off looking
What,
at
what if
kittens?
it's the same expression? Yeah.
That's a guy you could sell. You could seriously sell some kittens to that guy.
You could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a green penis.
So
Those
I
are
just
people you don't want to sell kittens to.
So I just want to say I didn't realize that when I wrote that status, it was like a tin hat kind of moment. Like that's not
Oh, it
what I
was, yeah.
meant for it to be. Like I just was sort of like joking around because
I thought it was
guess
a parody.
you got like you have you guys seen those like the FBI guy in my computer like jokes on the internet? Like that's sort of there's like this running joke that like there's an FBI like operative like in staring at everybody through their webcam when like obviously that's not. I think it's just like
No,
the
I'm
culture.
paranoid about that.
Well, it's just like the culture's way of dealing with our like fears about how much
Well, Homeland
privacy
Security's
we
listening to
have or
everybody.
don't have
Right.
in the modern world.
Yeah, just take it to the extreme and laugh at it.
I think
Yeah,
people are-
exactly.
But I think people are misunderstanding what Facebook does. Facebook does not spy on you.
Right.
I mean, what they do is they collect information
Right.
and they
They
use it
tailor
for,
your ads,
for
yeah.
advertising.
Right.
Right. Exactly.
Which Google
yeah.
does too.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're not like looking at you specifically. Like, you know, that's the whole Russian
And they're not
thing.
they're not really looking at you. Their algorithm is.
Right.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
don't
There's
really
not someone
think
there
anyone is looking at me.
Literally, one person's job is to look at like 10 people a day.
Yeah. So
You
the
know?
way the
Right.
Russian thing happened was that they just basically they found out who would be interested in what they were pushing, and they
And they pushed
targeted
it.
their posts with ads to those
Right.
people.
Yeah.
That's all. I mean, it's
Yeah,
not
and
illegal.
we've all agreed to everything that they're doing by accepting their terms of service. Yeah, they're not doing anything that's not completely like on the up and up. I mean, technically
Yeah.
speaking, although
I think we just all sort of slid into this slippery slope because everything was so attractive and appealing to us, and we were just
Right,
like, click
yeah.
OK because I really want access. And then the next thing you know, you know, I think the one lesson is just like be careful what you're looking at because it could be a pile of dew. It could
Well-
not be true. It could be completely made up. And like,
Yeah.
I think it's raised the awareness of all of us that you could be fed or pumped something that's meant as propaganda and
Yeah.
and have open eyes when you when you read something from online. It may
But
not.
we all need to prepare. Like this show is you tag this show on Facebook, don't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we're all going to get ads from greenpenis.com after this airs.
no.
Every
I
one of
mean,
us.
Oh no.
Yeah, and be
Hopefully
careful.
free samples.
Really, and don't just agree to those terms of service because you really need to read them first. So our next feature is called "What's Twitter Trending?" and we've got a lot that's Twitter trending. The first thing that struck my eye today that was Twitter trending is hashtag describe Twitter badly. Someone who's calling himself Al Bundy on Twitter wrote, describe Twitter badly. Some hillbilly just called me a libtard, but misspelled libtard. Larry's...
There's a correct way to spell it.
I know, and it's like, that's a made-up word. There's no incorrect way to spell
I
it.
know.
Larry's Twin writes, a platform that gives you 280 characters to clearly state your point and change someone's firmly held opinion. Now, that's someone that used this hashtag correctly. Hashtag describe Twitter badly. Lola writes, you'll be able to share your thoughts, feelings, and puns without judgment unless you have a typo. I think that's pretty true.
That's true. Yeah.
See, all these jokes
Like
are
what
just
I
like
just did to you.
clever.
Your punctuation also.
Mm.
Yeah,
Typo.
punctuation shaming is the thing that's like the one thing that it's PC to shame is someone's punctuation. Interesting, right? We've all become grammar snobs. Hashtag royal baby, of course, was a thing. Hashtag royal baby, because we did have a new royal baby over the weekend.
Royal
We did.
baby.
Yep. So
I didn't know
Ellie,
that.
yeah, we did. Ellie Taylor wrote, Kate Middleton's Day. 11 a.m., birth human. 4 p.m., blow dry in full makeup. 6 p.m., present new heir to media looking red carpet ready. My day. 11 a.m., wake up, eat cheese. 4 p.m., put bra on. 6 p.m., take bra off, eat cheese. Hashtag royal baby. That's a good use of hashtag royal baby.
Yeah. She eats cheese with or without the bra. I like
Yep.
that.
Mhm.
That's
Is
good
she
information.
breastfeeding? Is that
The cheese
the bra
eater
part?
or the royal...
I didn't know what the bra part was.
Now, Twitter's going to read that, the algorithm, and it'll tailor her advertisements to greenpenis.com.
I think so. I think basically what she was saying is that
this joke go.
after she eats the cheese,
into the ground.
after she eats the cheese, she puts her bra on, and she wears her bra for exactly 2 hours before it becomes painful. She wants more cheese, and she takes her bra off.
Oh, so that's comfort food from the pain of the bra.
Yeah, bras are painful.
But
Hashtag.
is the bra too tight because of the cheese?
I think
You
it's
know what
because
man
The
invented the
cheese
bra?
doesn't help.
Hashtag me too.
What?
John Fugel's
Can I-
saying.
I don't know.
Can
what
I
I'm
just
saying
say something
anymore.
about
Yeah.
the royal baby? I really like the fact that even like the little prince of England is wearing the same hat on the day that he was born as like every child in America, and maybe
Yeah, but that was photoshopped.
oh, was it?
I don't know.
He wasn't wearing that hat. He didn't come out wearing
It's
that
not
hat.
a hat if you're the royal baby.
That's
it's
the
a
same
crown.
hat
It's
that
a crown.
they gave my son in the
his
hospital.
crown. Come on. Come on.
If you're the royal baby,
MC
like.
Wheezy killing it.
So John Fugelsang wrote, "It's always newsworthy when a member of the royal family actually experiences labor."
That's a good
Hashtag royal baby.
Was that his
That was a
phone
good
in his
one.
front pocket? Was that his cell phone in his front pocket?
joke. Up top.
Irradiating his baby's brain
Is
with
that a phone?
UV?
That's not okay. So this is where it gets cute because that is my friend Kevin, and he had a baby on the same day as the royal baby. That's probably
no.
like some cassette that he was playing for his new baby. That baby is
cassette?
Cole.
Oh, so
Who
that's
has a
not.
cassette anymore?
No,
Okay.
this
New
is
cassette or
my
new
royal
baby.
baby.
Oh, okay. I thought that was the actual
No,
royal
that was
baby
the
in the
joke.
hat.
Was that like to me?
Oh.
This is the royal baby.
Oh,
That's Cole.
Wait a
Joseph.
second. We all got
Oh.
boonswoggled.
baby's wearing a peasant's hat.
This is Kevin and Ashley's baby, Cole Joseph Rucklin, born on the same day as baby Windsor, and thereby bumping the royal baby to 6 in the line of succession. All right, and then we have the actual royal baby. Is he wearing a crown?
He's
It's like a
wearing some sort of
bonnet
hat.
or something.
It's made of angel
Come on,
feathers.
click one of those bad boys. Let's just
There we
zoom
go.
in.
Oh,
Zoom
look
Hey,
in.
he's got the same hat as Cole.
Expand that.
It's the same
Oh,
lady.
no,
who-
no.
Well,
Is it a boy?
it's
That's a
No.
boy.
Oh wait.
That's a special hat.
That's. I mean, look at the knitting at the top. Look at the
Yeah.
detail. Look, it's like a
Yeah.
lace. It's like a made out of royal doilies.
Yeah, no, it's like 50 English virgins were employed to knit that hat for him.
English virgins.
I think you're right,
I
Dina.
don't know.
Could be.
There he is, and we don't have a name yet for him, but you can guess that the name is going to be something like Philip or James, because when you have a royal baby, you don't get to name him Dakota.
No.
There are
Or
certain
Feklar.
Or pilot inspector.
or Zofia.
Or Zardoz.
Tell
Or
everybody
green
that your
penis.
baby. Brett has the best baby names in the history of time.
My one daughter is Zofia. And my
Right.
other daughter is Citrus.
Aw.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Do they know their names?
Yeah, they know their names.
What were they? Did they? What inspired those names?
Zofia is the Lithuanian spelling of
Lots
Sophia.
of drugs.
And Citrus was the name of a character. I wrote a book right after I graduated college, and that was one of the character names that I made up. And I was like, if I ever have a daughter, I'm going to name her Citrus. And I did.
Aw.
Did you call her Sit?
Sit?
Sit. No?
No, that's a good idea, though.
Other. I think you should start. I want to thank everyone for being with us. It was such a wonderful show. Thank you, Dina, Scott, John Maddox, Jasper Maddox, Eric Schwartz, and Brett Gilbert. I'm Louise Palanker. Please subscribe to the show and share it with all your friends because it's my new favorite podcast. We want to make it yours. We will see you next week. Goodbye.